It's harder to put backbone than it is to maintain what you have. So if you buy into the system or you naively accept what is being shared out there, then you are going to be losing precious bone managing diseases. The system has two options. You can take a pill to manage your disease, or you could have a surgery. And so we are managing diseases or conditions, sometimes managing the disease until it becomes the condition that needs the surgery. Because I specialize in bone health, this is an area that's really important for me, because when we disempower women, when we don't put the job of taking care of yourself in your hands, and we put it in the hands of big pharma, big medicine, big food, and all the things that are wrong, in the meantime, you're getting weaker, losing more and more bone. It's harder to put backbone than it is to maintain what you have. So if you buy into the system or you naively accept what is being shared out there, then you are going to be losing precious bone. If I could share information that will help you make an informed decision for your body and your bones, then that is my goal and is why I am doing what I'm doing. I have countless conversations with women that are so sad that they feel the word bullied by their doctor or feel combative. And so I have a question for you. What if we're approaching bone health all wrong? What if it is all wrong? The feeling of fragility and being breakable is so profound. And it is what happens when you go into your doctor and you have a Dexa scan. And then the misconstrued notion that as we age, we should be degenerating, that we will have osteoporosis. It's the number one disease in menopause. The women over age 65, 35% of them have osteoporosis. 50% of the people over age 50 have bone loss. And that is true because we have a machine called a Dexa scan that tells us it's true. This machine is 40 years old. And there's a lot of flaws with this technology and a lot of variables that go into account when we're using this to give us these answers. And I learned this because I interview physicians. This is not me just trying to say what I'm sharing with you what I learn in my discussions. I learn most of this when I'm not recording. I want to protect the people that I interview. And I interview people that have a license to protect. They are licensed medical professionals. So there are some things we could say on air and some things we could say off air. This is my off air discussion with physicians that are sick and tired of the business of medicine and want to make a change. What I just learned from one of my physicians is this. He said, we let it happen. And he said, it was happening along the way. It really is the fault of us doctors for not standing up and doing something about it. And what I said to him was, as a human being, I really think the highest level that you could reach is to become a doctor. I think from a place of respect, education, and where someone puts their trust in you is with our doctors. And we want that. We want to respect our doctors. We want to go there and respect that what they're telling us is right. It's a relationship, right? We're part of this. We are part of that relationship. There's one aspect that people are sicker today than ever before. We have a lot more breakdown in our body systems because we've been exposed to toxins and stress, and our food supply is Franken food. We have food being created in laboratories to be tasty and more desirable. So there's actually scientists trying to understand the psychology around food and creating the chemical addiction desire part of food. So it's not real. It's not something that grew on a plant that nature created. There's sales and marketing that goes into food for the colors and the wording and the marketing and the feelings that are associated with the items. So much has happened to us human beings from who we were, let's say in the 50s, the 60s. So much has changed now. So the person walking into the doctor's office is a different person. And then we have the system, which is controlled by insurance and big pharma. And there are short visits. The doctors are burned out. They're frustrated. They are pigeonholed into the recommendations that are popping up on their screens or on your charts. And this is another physician in my interview told me she was sick and tired of doing medicine as usual. And she had her 7 minutes to see her patient. And as soon as the disease was put in the chart, up pops the recommendations, the bisphosphonates, the anabolics. If you have 7 minutes with a person and you're seeing 20 people a day, it's very easy to say, okay, Susie, here's your prescription for X, Y, and Z. And that's how it's done. The physicians have been controlled in a way that they're not happy with. This is why we see a lot of physicians becoming functional medicine practitioners. And that becomes another issue because we're spending so much money on insurance. I spend for me by myself, $1,400 a month on insurance. Now, I choose to have a PPO because I have certain physicians that I've worked with, and I don't actually go to the doctor that often. I get my hormones from my doctor, and I'll do some of my annual checkups. Any prescriptions that are written, I say, thank you, and I leave the office and rip them up. And then if I want to go to functional medicine physicians, they're not using insurance for some of the lab tests that I want to run. The labs that I'm running are not covered by insurance because they're functional labs, the stool lab, the food sensitivity blood labs, the urine labs to look at mold exposure, toxins, heavy metals, yeast, and all of these internal hidden stressors that contribute to bone loss and to breakdown in our body. So those labs that functional medicine doctors want to use, that I use, are not covered by insurance. Because big pharma and big insurance is all a part of that, it's a broken system. So you're going to get medicine as usual in that place, which is going to be the prescription for the pill, which manages your disease and does not cure you. To be cured, you need to be an active participant and you need to find functional medicine doctors. Super frustrating, not just for you as the participant or the patient, but for the doctors offering this care, because they don't want to manage your disease. They want to help guide you towards health. In the bone health world, I want to raise awareness to the fact that control of the business of medicine, that control feature starts with your Dexa scan, and you're only going to get it every 2 years. There are some good things about having that knowledge. I just want you to be aware of taking it with a grain of salt and why you need to. And then the medications, most of them actually are negative to bone health because they don't really have the effect on bone metabolism that is permanent and actually does what it says it does. And it's very important to educate yourself on that. That's really hard to find negative information because the business of medicine and the control of big pharma, big food, big insurance, because of the control of all of this, when you Google search, you're going to see the same companies popping up on that screen over and over. I don't want to mention any here, but if you do a Google search, you're going to see this organization, this organization, this organization, and this organization. If you enjoyed this clip from Stronger Bones Lifestyle, be sure to check out the next video or dive into the full podcast episode. Before you go, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a thing. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.